to the Long Beach Craft Radio.
It's easy, is it? It's not easy. We're here.
We are here with my trusty two, Cody and Dino.
Yeah, you're stumbling.
And we're going to stumble right through this
Where
meeting.
Where we at?
Welcome to the Long Beach Craft Radio Hour. My name is Kyle, also known as Happy Leprechaun. My two cohorts here are Cody Brew and Grow and Dino Flo over here, ready to start it off.
Cheers.
All yours, Dino.
Very good.
Bleh.
See, I mean, for your
Out of
first
the way.
time, that's actually not that bad. It's not the easiest thing to do to step on here and
I
give
don't
a
want to
nice.
do it all really well right away, because then you're just going to think I'm going to be good all
My
the time.
expectations would be too high then. But we're here. I don't don't mention yet the Long Beach Beer Lab.
Oh, yes.
LBbeer.com. You want to check
Beer
them out,
Lab.
right?
Yeah.
You want to check us out? What's our website?
LongBeachCraftRadio.com.
I like the way you say that. This is our second go at it, man. We're still knocking off the rust. I don't know about you guys, but it's still not that easy to step up.
Oiling the squeaky wheels.
Oiling the squeaky wheels. But guess what? It's LA Beer Week, and it's a good week to kind of dust off the rust. Events going off every single day, starting off with Saturday, LA Beer Week kickoff. Amazing festival every single time. We also are drinking on tap right now at Long Beach Beer Lab. You can come down right now and drink it.
Right there.
Unity. It's called Unity. It's what they brew. I think it's been like 3 years running now.
Yeah.
That they brew Unity.
UNITY.
Basically, in the past, I know they did a big collab with like a lot of the brewers, but I think LA Beer Works kind of did this one on their own from what I know. I don't know if it was a big collab this year.
It was. So, like you said, yeah, it was a collab, but it was brewed at LA Ale Works, Los Angeles Ale Works. But yeah, I think every year what happens is a different brewery hosts it, and they
all come together.
They all come together, but the host is more responsible for like the final product. And this year, they did 2 Unities.
It was perfect, man, the way they did it.
They did a West Coast IPA, and they did a New England Haze Me Bro IPA.
And it came in a 4-pack, 2 and 2. So you're going to get 2 hazies, and you're going to get 2 West Coasties. And you can kind of, compare and see what you like. Of course, haze craze is in full effect. I think the guys at the table here, I think we all still prefer West Coast style.
Against the haze.
Against
is a strong word.
I'm against
prefer the West Coast.
I'm against the popularity of the haze. I'm against the fad of the haze. Produce a good haze and I'll drink it.
It's not a bad beer. It's just overdone.
And it's overhyped.
They won't stop doing it.
And here at Beer Lab, they're serving the West Coast
they
version.
served the other one, but it tapped out right away because of the hype. It tapped out right away. It hazed away.
But that's what we're drinking. We're drinking the West Coast version, as you can see. Very nice clarity. Cheers, boys. On Beach Craft Radio in the house. This beer, you can see it on the video. That's classic Cali IPA style. Nice clear color. That
beautiful beer right there.
Straw yellow. Poured a nice single finger white head.
Did you remember the hops we just read?
Big hop aroma.
Something 7.
Cascade and a couple other deliciousness.
So yeah, if you want to, let's see here.
See what the description is on the.
Let's see the description. So both beers come in at 7% ABV,
That's right.
and they both use El Dorado and Idaho 7 hops. But the West Coast features Simcoe, and the East Coast features Mandarina Bavaria hops.
There's a couple new hop varieties that I'm not familiar with.
Right.
Maybe they're not new, but maybe not so used very often. I wish we had the hazy
good West Coast
to kind of compare.
It would be nice to compare.
Dank.
Yeah.
It's like one of those weed hops.
Yeah.
It's really weedy, really stinky, and
This beer is just so good. The aroma's kicking off. It's so smooth. That mouthfeel is perfect. Everything about it is quite pleasant. It's not crazy bitter. It's got some kind of tropical fruit notes going on along with that hoppy, madness that it's portraying. 7.0 is perfect for an IPA. I like that. It's right in the heart of the comfortability of ABV. You know, it's not, you know.
It's in the sweet spot for what a good IPA is.
Just having a couple sips here, I'm always impressed with what Unity comes out to be. And you can't be really surprised with the talent of brewers that we have here in LA. Even OC gets in on it. I'm not sure if anybody went and helped out with this beer, but if you combine LA and OC, we just won the most awards ever at the at the last
what is it, Beer
CBC?
Cup?
Yeah, the World Beer Cup. World Beer Cup. So if you combine LA and Orange County, it was a record-breaking amount of wins compared with our two cities kind of put together. We're no longer. I said this when we were on the air 6 months ago. This is no longer up-and-coming area of craft beer. This is a craft beer destination. So it's great. I love when these guys can get together, share all their knowledge, put out a beer like this, and it all goes to good cause to hype up LA beer. I mean, this whole week is just a beautiful week for craft beer enthusiasts. You know what I mean? If you ever wanted to meet your brewer, if you ever wanted to, you know, do some kind of crazy event, this is the week. You know, you're everybody's hands on, everybody's all in. Every brewery goes big for this week. You're going to get most unique beers you'll ever get because everybody, you know, they're excited for this week, and I don't blame them. This is year 10. The 10th anniversary of LA Beer Week. And it's, I mean, it's just going to get better and better. This week always takes it out of me. It's always a long week.
You know, it is hosted by the LA Brewers Guild, and their mission is to support and promote local independent beer in the LA County
who are trying
region.
to open. What they do is help you open. If you're having problems with the city, they'll step in and help. They'll do. They go all the way to Washington D.C. and lobby for us. I mean, it's a great thing what they do.
Yeah, and so like you said, there's events all over the place. So I mean, there's bars with just tap takeovers. There's kick the keg parties. There's sumo wrestling parties. There's battle of the bands parties.
Right,
There's all sorts of things. And of course, last Saturday was the LA Beer Week Kickoff Festival.
Yes,
which is one of the biggest, best LA beer festivals. And a lot of the breweries bring some of the heat. They bring some of the best stuff that they know other brewers are going to enjoy. Me and Kyle didn't get a chance to make it, but
I think I took Cody's ticket.
Brandino made it.
I took his ticket.
Tell us a little bit about that event, Dino. You were there. You were out there.
Let's set this.
You were drunk within the first 20 minutes.
I'm so unprofessional, but that's why I am who I am.
You were pre-gaming.
That's how you make an impression.
Right? I mean, this is what it is. Let me set the scene. This festival is no joke in the heart of LA. It's a couple blocks from Staples Center. It's on this beautiful kind of slopey street where if you go to the top of it, you can look down on the entire event and just see everybody enjoying themselves. The weather was ridiculously perfect. It was like 75 degrees, slightly cloudy. You know, like no sunblock.
I remember a couple of years ago,
bro,
we
lobster.
were burning
I was
up.
lobstered out,
You wore a tank top, and you were lobster fired.
People were bringing it up. They were like, "Okay, like you're actually okay this year." But I learned a lot. I mean, I learned that if you step away from the craft beer industry for 6 months, it changes drastically. It was never more prevalent, if that's the right word, than when I showed up to this festival. Yeah. I just didn't recognize half the booths. I didn't recognize half the breweries. These are all our local breweries. So I was kind of a little shell-shocked about how much has changed. But people just brought the heat, man. You know, a lot of festivals, they'll bring 2 beers. There was El Segundo had like 7, 8 beers. Everybody was bringing the heat, bro, and they had it all lined up. One booth after another, never disappointed. Lots of sours, lots of IPAs, of course.
So I got 2 questions for you. What was the longest line?
Of course, Monkish. I mean, I thought the hype had at least died down a little bit. No, it's hypier than ever.
I think it's gonna stay that way.
So you guys are familiar with
love the hype.
You guys are familiar with the first hour, the VIP hour, when there's supposed to be like no lines, you can run around and get beers. Yeah, 100-person line during the VIP.
Jesus,
the one
bro. Monkish.
If I was,
Way to go, Monk.
if I was
Haze me, bro. The brewery that once upon a time would never brew an IPA.
on our show said that they would never brew an IPA. That's a whole other story. Because 3 weeks later, after the show, they brewed their first IPA. But
and they've been buying beach houses ever since.
what I like is brewers and brewery owners show up for this event. You know, a lot of events you go to, you walk up and you want to ask them about the beer, and it's a volunteer that really doesn't know anything about the beer. This time, Henry from Monkish, the owner, was sitting behind the tent pouring beers all day long, and that played out throughout most of the tents.
Yeah.
It's always just such a great event for a beer enthusiast. You get to talk, you get to drink the best beers, you get to see everything LA has to offer. Plus, OC's involved. I don't know how that works.
Oh, yeah.
We got OC breweries there. We got San Francisco breweries there. People just want to be a part of it.
Guest breweries. Yeah,
Guest
guest
breweries.
breweries. That's awesome. So that was the first.
That can make it usually gets invited.
Yeah,
I mean,
and they want to cure.
It's LA-centric, but...
When I was reading about, when I was reading about the history of LA Beer Week, it started before the founding of LA Brewers Guild.
Okay.
So
Yeah. That's true. The Guild's not very old.
Right, and so it was originally bringing amazing craft breweries from around the country
Yeah,
to LA.
Because we only had 5 back then.
Right, to educate LA drinkers on what awesome craft
Can you
beer
believe this,
is.
Scott? When we started the show 4 or 5 years ago, or whatever it was, there was 5 breweries. There was 5 or 6
Now there's
breweries.
500.
Literally, like it's ridiculous the transformation that has occurred over the last few years.
And so, it started out as like just bringing it in. So there's going to be guest breweries there, but there's, I think, 80 LA-based breweries that participate.
With 80 about
that's
to open.
part of the guild. Yeah, no, but that participate as part of the guild and at LA Beer Week. So it's a great community, independent brewing type of event. First question was how longest line you said Monkey. Second question was what was your favorite or most surprising brewery? What was something you tried that you were kind of stoked on, surprised about?
Let me try to remember anything.
Harvest the artifacts inside your own hazy brain, my friend.
So I'm a green cheek kind of fucking nerd. I love green cheek. If all you out there don't know, Noble Ale Works had this brewer, Evan Price, basically brought him from the bottom to the top. They were known as one of the worst breweries in the area. He took over and made them maybe the best brewery in the area.
Oh, really?
And that's well known.
They won a bunch of awards under him, blew up under him.
Exactly. As soon as he was able to, he opened up his own brewery. And it's called Green Cheek. And it's probably only a year old. It's not very old. But what they do is just perfection. They're a lot to me like Beachwood, where
I like it.
I'm not scared to try any of their beers because I know it's going to be brewed with major skill, with a lot of skill. And they had the most unassuming booth. You would have to search the whole... It took me 3 hours out of the 4-hour festival to find their booth. It was literally a backyard, fold-up umbrella.
And not even an easy
Taped to their keg. And then they were just pouring.
I love it.
And they were like, yeah, why are we going to spend all this money on all this bullshit?
Yeah,
When we
drunk
like,
people just here. Here's the beer.
It was
That's
the
all you
greatest
care
thing.
about.
So I hung out there for quite a while, and so does a lot of the industry. So what happens at these festivals? Cool kids. You hang out at the Beachwood Fest, and then you hang out at the Green
it's a
Cheek,
cool
and then-
clique, man.
You gotta make the rounds.
But I think Green Cheek definitely stood out for me. Cellar Maker was there holding it down. They had 4 beers, all 4 of them absolutely amazing. I don't even think I went to Beachwood. That's a little. Should have said.
go to Beachwood?
I didn't even go to their tent.
Don't say that.
I'm sure you. Any beer that they would be serving you've had before
Yeah,
and
yeah.
have this week or last week or
I did try a few new breweries. Nothing really stood out. A good thing, I guess, is I didn't have a beer that I immediately tossed out. There was no beer that I really was like, oh my god, this is terrible.
yeah.
Move on.
Anybody putting something out like that?
I mean, it happens, bro.
So another thing that I saw on the Instagram posts and all the stuff I was following it was some of the musical selections. And I saw talking about Beachwood.
Yeah.
Julian Shago out there.
He actually played with the
wailing,
band. He actually played with the band.
Singing it up, laying it down.
Random. I've seen Julian play live like 8 times, and he's always solo, playing like Pearl Jam with his chain wallet, just going crazy. He's really talented. I was excited to see him with the band because it was like, man, you're always so like solo and so like, I don't know. He's not a very warm person. I don't know if you've met him. He's never given me a very warm welcome. But
he's not gonna now.
But it was good. I mean, who gives a shit? Who gives a shit?
He's never giving you the hug of all love.
Dude, every other brewer does.
Doesn't pull you in the back, lets you sample things.
No, but it's just one of those
things. That sounds like a good event, though.
No,
I'm bummed I missed it.
If there's one LA beer festival, especially if you've been to a bunch, like, you know, they kind of all the same. This one's not the same. This one sets itself apart. If I can, one complaint, they sold way too many VIP. So VIP is supposed to be that time, right? Where like you can just go in and you're not supposed to wait in lines at the VIP. There was thousands of people in there. Like no joke. It looked like it was like packed for the VIP. So I think they should
be well over $100 probably for that ticket.
I think it was $80. It was $80. It's only an extra hour.
It's double the price, but you get an extra hour and you get
a bigger glass.
Yeah, a little bit special.
Those bigger glasses were actually dope. People were pouring. People were like pouring.
Was it the stem one?
Yeah,
it was like a stem one of that.
Yeah. That's maybe the only complaint. Otherwise, parking was great. Security was great. Food was great. Music was. It's a lot of these bands that are playing tonight at the Battle of Bands.
Tell us about that event. You've been to it a bunch of years.
Wow.
And we're talking about how
the LA host it this year, yeah.
The LA Brewers Guild and LA Beer Week, they're all about community. Yeah. And there's all these events going on all over the city. And part of that is the Battle of the Bands. Yeah. And who knew that so many goddamn brewers were freaking rock and roll stars,
like real musicians.
Yeah, like they really know how to play music. And so tell us about past events that you've seen.
I mean, that one especially is just one of the ones where everybody gets real excited for. These guys practice for months. If you follow these breweries, they're showing you that like they take this shit dead serious, and they practice and they recruit ringers, and they'll like it's pretty great. And then when you get there, they all come out in costumes and they go full board, man. And it's just one of those things that's thoroughly entertaining. I think it's $10 to get in. Yeah. It's the craziest tap list you'll ever see, and everybody is just having the greatest time. And it's mostly industry people, but you know, that's good times too. I mean, bring your friends to it, whatever. I'm looking more forward to Saturday when this guy puts on a sumo suit at Three Weavers. This guy's going to sumo wrestle, and I'm going to coach. I feel like I should be the sumo. I feel like...
Well, you should be. You should be. But...
No, he's got the skills. He's got the rest of his skills.
Footwork. And as long as...
Be fast and...
You know, I was thinking about it, because I was like, I'm going to school these motherfuckers. There's no one who's like...
Nobody's going to be
they don't know how to use their body. But then I was thinking back, there's a couple dudes... who are like 300 plus.
Yeah. That you just won't be able to move.
Might be in this sumo contest.
I don't know if you can put
my
on one of those
skinny
suits.
ass is not going to be able to.
You put on one of those
suits. You
suits.
don't even need the fan to keep it blumped up. He puts it on, it looks like a latex suit.
Looks like a wetsuit. Looks like a wetsuit on him.
So
I need a bigger suit.
I cut the cable at my house, so I'm on either Amazon, Netflix, YouTube, or Antenna. So one of the Antenna channels is the Japanese channel, and every morning they have the Sumo Championships, whether it's pre-recorded, whether it's live. Dude, I've watched drinking my coffee in bed. So many Sumo.
He's watched a lot of films. He's watched a lot of films.
Research. This is the whole thing. This is one of the techniques. So when you think you're going to take someone out and you're superior, bigger, powerful, whatever, you just charge them and you push them out of the ring, right? The other technique is you're a little bit smaller, you might not be as good, blah, blah. So what you do is you like this, right? And you can do open hand slaps. So what you do is right when the ref goes, woo, you go, boom, and hit him right in the face and like act like you're coming hard, and then they charge you and you just move out of the way and they go woo right out the ring with all their weight.
I don't think the face slap is going to be a legal move on Saturday.
So yeah,
I think boob slaps.
Boob slaps. But the point is I'm going to come hard. Boobs. Hey, I hope none of my opponents are listening,
right.
But I'm going to come hard and then I'm going to do the turn.
And then
you're going to fly
What you
out.
got to do, Code, is read the eyeballs. Read the eyeballs. You'll see if they're going to run at you or not. And then when you see...
Smell their fear.
Like, how aggressive
Or their
are
farts.
they, How aggressive really are they coming at me?
I mean, if I was anybody out there, I would just go to labeerweek.com, check out the huge list of events,
Right.
And then just go to the ones close to your house. I mean, there's so many. There's so many events to pick out from. These are just a couple of our favorites that we want to check out.
So back to the beer that we're drinking.
Right, Unity.
This is the Unity West Coast IPA brewed by LA Ale Works in collaboration with all other LA Brewers Guild brewers. This thing pours that nice clear yellow with a single finger white head. I got a bunch of mango and like papaya mixed with that piney type of resiny aroma. You take a sip, you get that nice smooth bitterness. Like the bitterness is present, but it's like, I love that.
Yeah.
It's like hot bitterness, that high alpha acid.
Smoothie filled bomb.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And then you get like, to me, it's a blend of grapefruit and mango with pine. Like the flavors on your tongue.
I like your description.
That's
I think it fits.
Moderate mouthfeel, finishes crisp and clean like a California IPA
Super
should. I'm going to give this mother loving beer a 3.99
Almost.
on the full beer rating scale. So, speaking of 3.99 beards on the 4 beer rating scale, you guys want to explain the beer rating system?
So the beer rating system is based on a beard rating for your beer.
Yeah.
So there is a total of 4 beards
That's a
can
perfect
be
beer.
voted. So that would be a perfect beer.
Perfect.
So rarely does a beer
What
get
would-
4 beards, but maybe at the end of the show.
What would be a
because we're all
Budweiser?
kind of housed.
How many beers would be a
Budweiser
Budweiser?
just shouldn't even. Doesn't
We're
even get
never
one.
going to drink that beer.
That's like you had a patch of hair that you forgot to shave. That's a Budweiser.
And you're
Or there's that
balding,
one-
and so you got it
There's
surgically
that one
removed
head
and
that
put.
sticks out of your mole.
Yeah,
That's
that's a Budweiser.
That's a Budweiser.
That's a good one. Okay, so what do you
give
get?
this Budweiser
So,
a one hair
out of
mole
my-
rating?
So
How about
the
this one?
classic Long Beach Craft Radio rating system?
Super
is
serious.
Out of 4 beards, it's official. It'll make or break your brewery. There's a lot of subreddits
clout.
about the
We're
rating
killing
system.
dreams here.
So much
Or-
clout.
I
Burning
gave it a
bridges.
3.99. The Unity West Coast Ale. What do you think, Kyle? How
I'm
many
going to give
beers
it
is this?
a 3.75
You get a 3.75.
because it's good, but
What's
it
missing?
isn't the beer that makes me ooey gooey at the moment.
Ooh.
That's kind of gross.
Is that what
It's
beers
not-
make you?
I don't know. A good 4 beer rating. It would be an ooey gooey type rating. I love it, but I would drink 10 more of them.
3.75 is pretty high.
I like
it.
it's a
I
great
like
rating.
it.
It's a
So
great rating.
I guess what it's missing is just my taste preference of the moment.
Okay.
So it's going to be a taste that I'm always going to love, but 3.75.
3.75.
I
And
appreciate it.
the legendary Brandino.
I'll tell you something. Ain't nothing wrong with it. Ain't nothing wrong with it.
Nothing.
This is a 4.0. This is as good as a beer gets. This is as good as an IPA gets.
Ooey gooey.
It is clean. It is crisp. And the aroma punches you in the face. It's not overly bitter. It's got those tropical fruit madness.
Punches you in the face.
Those hops are blending
Then kisses you on
perfectly.
the mouth.
I mean, is there anything wrong with this beer?
No.
Booski.
So it's a 4.0.
Wow.
I mean, I have no problem throwing it out there. It's a great beer. It's a great beer. And it's a great week. It's LA Beer Week. Just to remind you one more time, we're going to be on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. We're going to start downloading everywhere we can, so this show is super accessible to everybody. But please go to our website, longbeachcraftbeer.com.
longbeachcraftradio.com.
Craft Radio. See, I don't even know our own website. But I'll get to that.
It's the drugs.
It's all the drugs.
drugs.
This is the early stages.
This 4.0,
we're gonna get really good at this.
This 4.0 beer's kind of got me limpy. So
we're gonna suck at this forever.
we're always gonna suck. Yeah, I've done this.
We're gonna be consistent.
I've done this many times and I still suck.
So that was the Unity West Coast IPA brewed by LA Ale Works in association with the Los Angeles County Brewers Guild.
Yeah, I mean, beautiful.
And I think that was a good first segment for
Yeah,
the
yeah,
show.
yeah,
What do we got going on for the rest of the show?
All of us, for now our format is each of us are going to bring a beer to share with each other. We're going to drink it, talk about that brewery, that area, the industry, whatever actually comes up in our minds. Later on, we'll try to infuse questions on Facebook, Instagram. If you guys want to call in, hit us up. We'll figure something out for that.
Me, bro.
But for now,
we got 3 more beers coming up.
My face.
Oh,
ladies.
We're gonna take a short break, but we got 3 more beers coming up that we're gonna drink and review.
Yep.
We got Brews News.
Yep.
And
that's about it.
That's about it, my man. We're gonna eat a pizza here because we're at Long Beach Beer Lab, which has tons of fermentation forward beers.
Shout out.
And a great bakery where they pump out fresh pizzas and bread and calzones and sandwiches.
It's a kosher kitchen. It's a vegetarian. Is it all vegetarian?
It's all vegetarian.
All vegetarian and kosher,
organic,
certified.
locally sourced, Star Wars, aliens, ghosts, and Wu-Tang.
No, but on all serious, Cody, it's hard to get people to come to a brewery just being like, oh yeah, they got great beer. But when I emphasize their kitchen and what they do, the uniqueness of this brewery, that's when people really, you can see them peak and they go, oh my, I actually need to go by that.
It's not just a brewery.
It's not just your average brewery.
It's all small batch, handmade artisan beer with small batch, handmade artisan bread and pizza.
And what they do here,
Long Beach Beer Lab,
very unique.
Come check it out.
Compared to other breweries, is they build up their own yeast here. They create
all their own
yeast
cultures
strains
based on wild culture.
It's the greatest thing ever. We're going to take our first break. We're going to be right back after we stuff some pizza in our mouth. I think Crooked Stave, or we'll bring something up next. It'll be great.
You're listening to Long Beach Craft Radio live from Long Beach Beer Lab. We'll be right back.
Here at Long Beach Beer Lab, and we are
Long Beach Craft Radio.
Yes, we said it right. We got it right this time. We're back for our second little segment here, day 3 of LA Beer Week. We're starting to come into it. We're starting to knock the rust off of it. It's our second show back. And we're going to start reviewing some really good beers here. I brought this to share with you folks.
So, first off,
what do you got to say?
Part of the format is we're each going to bring a beer from here on out. We used to have companies just dump beer on us. And we still have that, Everyone started sending us beer, but we're controlling it a little bit more.
Don't stop sending beer.
So each one of us brings one beer to present and share with the other two hosts. So, and Dino brought this beautiful baby.
Man, it's one of those things. It's just I have a favorite style of. Oh, let's just go with sours. I have a favorite style of beer, yeah, but I have a favorite style of sours. First of all, oak barrels. Second of all, fruited with either peaches or apricots. I'm telling you, it's liquid candy 99.9% of the time.
Things in this one, huh?
I mean, we got them both. Dude, that's why the bottle was purchased without hesitation. This is Crooked Stave, man. If you haven't been to Crooked Stave out in Denver, next GABF, why don't you go ahead and buy yourself a ticket to GABF, buy yourself a plane ticket,
Go
and
on
then
sale
fucking
July 31st.
really kill it. There you go. Nice little update. It's
only going to cost you your firstborn.
You're going to go to this very weird building. It looks like a little mini mall. It's got a bar in the middle. Lots of little shops surrounding that bar. And one of those little shops is this amazing brewery. And most of the things they do, I think maybe all the things they do are like sour, funky, barrel aged. I don't think they put out IPAs or I don't know.
It's all wild cultures. It's all barrels. It's all oak.
Yeah.
So Crooked Stave opened 2011. From what I read, they've been wanting to do a barrel-aged apricot beer since they opened. But I think it was 2016 in Colorado. They just had an amazing harvest, a crazy apricot harvest that they had to take advantage of. So the first year they put out this beer was 2016. This is actually the 17 version. So this is probably the second time they put it out. They release it with two other beers. This is the apricot. They have blueberry origins. Gotta try it. I can't wait to try it. And then I think I'm going to say this so wrong. Surette Reserva Prunus is the other. It's the third part of that kind of series. For me, I had to go apricot first. I know that's the style I love, and I thought maybe we would all enjoy it. These guys,
so good.
Crooked Stave. I mean, I just learned this today. They not only have like one of the dopest, coolest little breweries in Denver, but they are a huge distribution when it comes to sour, funky, even meads. Like their portfolio is one of the most amazing portfolios I've ever witnessed.
So yeah, that's really interesting because I've visited their tasting room a couple times, and you mentioned we went there a couple years ago, and it's almost hard to find. Like you take an Uber there, the Uber's like, where am I going? Like it's a big warehouse with all these little shops, like a mall. Yeah. And it's in the back of that, so sometimes you'll almost get dropped off in the back of the warehouse.
You got dropped off in the back.
And you're like, where am I at? And it's just this little tasting room, and you don't think that, this great little artisanal project is doing distribution for other breweries.
I mean, and not just that, their list. If you go to their website, just look up Crooked Stave. What is their distribution? You'll figure it out. Crooked Stave.
It's like CSD or something. Crooked Stave Distributor.
Just look at let me name a few of them. They got 8 Wired. Okay, but Almanac, Anchorage, Baird Beer, Cascade, Crux, Evil Twin, Jester King, Gigantic. I mean, that's a
good list.
That's like a few of like the 100. Like if you look at their list, it's one of the most impressive portfolios I've ever witnessed. Especially if you like sour, funky, crazy. Like they don't really do run of the mill. I mean, Gigantic kind of run of the mill, but
and you're probably
it's okay.
dealing with certain kinds of beers that aren't like with a big distribution company that say a big name, even a big name craft brewery is going to use. They probably don't have the same things in place to bring a bottle like that around.
Right. So how this distribution thing got started, founder and brewmaster, I'm going to say this wrong too, Chad Jacobson. Chad Jacobson. It's probably wrong.
That's
but
perfect.
But basically, what they learned as Crooked Stave when they first started in 2011 is that they needed to educate people about what sours, what funky beer is. When they went around, people weren't really sure of what that was. So in their touring, they had to go around educating. They found other breweries that similar style, similar like-minded people, and they decided, you know what? Let's gather all these people and bring them into one distribution. I've been drinking Crooked Stave for years. I found out today that they did all this. So,
I didn't know. I wasn't aware of that.
Really impressive, and I really like that they keep it with that experimental, sour, funky, barrel-aged, almost their whole portfolio. This beer, I mean, I've had a couple sips. Just amazing. I mean, it's pretty tart. I didn't think it was going to be so tart. But it's got some nice tartness to it. Those apricots are just fucking heavenly. Everything about this beer is, in the first couple sips is just great. What do you guys think?
Yeah, absolutely, man. You see on the video here, this thing just pours like a bright yellow haze. Really nice. This is a golden sour ale from Crooked Stave, like Dino said.
Yeah.
I'm getting that apricot. It's definitely in the aroma, but there's a blend of funk. Like a little bit of barnyard is like background in the aroma.
Yeah.
Barnyard and wood, but apricot is up front. Fruit,
All that oakiness.
all that's up front in the aroma. You take a sip, really nice acidity and nice tartness. Like I love sours, so you can't be too sour for me.
Yeah.
This is not even in that too sour.
Not even close.
This is well balanced to me between uses of Brettanomyces, Lactobacillus, the fruit flavors from apricot, the wood, and the tannins that kind of like form a structure for it in your mouth. This thing's really nice. And an extra benefit is it has the good linger.
It's got the good linger. I think that is a Cody coined phrase, and I love it because it does.
You take a sip, you got the aroma, the flavor, and then almost like
You can just sit
30
there.
seconds
you can just
after
sit there.
the sip, you're still processing some of the flavors. It's still stimulating your taste buds. It's kind of like when you watch a sunset and the sun goes down, and a half hour after the sunset, it's almost like the most beautiful part of the sunset.
I like it. The
What do you
good
think,
linger.
Kyle?
This is a sunset's beer. Not a beer necessarily for sunset, but the sunset of beers. Agreed. I think I like it. There are parts of sours that will make me immediately feel like I have a headache, or like a good bready, a really bready sort of a beer.
Yeah.
Immediately, I think vomit.
Okay.
Vomit? No,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's vomity. I'm not talking about this beer, but yes, there are
it better
beers
not be.
Right.
that are bready that end up, and there's a juicy quality to it that I love.
There's some juice in this.
Like if it wasn't beer, it could still be a juice. It would be just as good out of a carton, and if it wasn't beer, but it is beer, and we love it, and I'm a fan.
You know what a lot of people don't realize about sours and a lot of these sour programs, that there's a base beer, right? There's basically one blonde or one,
boring.
Whatever style beer
Yeah.
that they can just fuck with and tweak with and make it what they want. The base beer on this one was called Persica. I've never even had it. That one originally had peaches, so what they did, instead of the peaches, they just took that base and put these apricots in it. The base is going to make the beer. I mean, if you look at the blendery over in Long Beach Boulevard, they won a gold medal or a medal at a GABF for their base beer. And that just tells you, that all their beers are going to be good. Because if the base is that good, if the base is one of the best bases in the world, then the rest of the beers are going to be that good. It's just one of those things I don't think a lot of people realize when they drink a sour beer or sour beers from a certain brewery, that a lot of times it's that one beer just tweaked a bunch of different ways.
Couple ads, yeah.
And this one, base beer, I'm going to have to go look for it and maybe bring it on the show. Persica. It was the base beer on this one. There's so many breweries that surround this brewery. I mean, Denver is crazy for when it comes to, like, you just walk to brewery after brewery after brewery. I mean, let me see. Oh, yeah. Okay. Epic, Ratio, Blue Moon Week, Spangalang, Great Divide, Mockery.
Spangalang.
These are all breweries within walking distance from this brewery. It's an incredible trip if you ever want to take a trip to Denver.
Spangalang. I went there 2 years ago at JBF and walking from Crooked Stave.
Right?
Never heard of it before, and they had some great beers, some really interesting barrel-aged stuff, some fruited beers, some really crazy beers. But Crooked Stave has always been one of my favorites.
Top echelon Denver was.
Yeah, I always stuff as many of their bottles into my check-in bag as I can. It's kind of like a pilgrimage to Belgium for me when I go to Denver. You know, it gets a lot of those beers. Now they're being a little bit more distributed in California. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we described this beer. We broke it down. I think I'm ready to give it a craft radio beer rating on the 4-beard rating scale.
Quickly, the word Persica is part of a genus for peaches. Part of the scientific name for peaches.
I like that quick Google. I like that. So that was the base beer. Like I said, minus the peaches, add the apricots.
All coming together.
Stone fruit for everybody.
Every fruit must get stoned.
I mean, there's a solid 3.8 beards on the 4-beard rating scale. I think it's delicious. It's great. Get plenty of stone fruit, apricot, peach. Get that lacto, some of that background. I think a little wild, a little Brettanomyces, a little oak, but sourness and apricot.
How about the aroma on this thing? How about the aroma on this thing? I mean, usually IPAs is what it hit me hard with the aroma. This thing is beautiful.
Yeah.
You can smell the oak barrels. You can smell the apricot. It's just funky. It's like all the right mixtures of all those right flavors.
Crooked Stave's own description of its Le Bret d'Apricot Golden Sour Ale Asian Oak Barrels with Colorado apricots.
Full fruit.
Uphold the time-honored traditions used to make Belgian lambic ales through embracing natural fermentation with the microflora native to our brewery. So they're talking about some cool shit open fermentation activity right there, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, I love the fact that they use local fruit. I love the fact that they use whole fruit. I don't know if a lot of people use whole fruit. I read they use 3,000 pounds, but I couldn't find how many barrels that 3,000 pounds. I think it's a fooder or a foeder. A fooder that they actually brewed this beer in. So I read 3,000 pounds of apricots. And I don't know how big their fooder is, but that's a lot of, and it's full fruit.
Fooders are big. Well, I'm going to give it a solid 3.8 beers.
Yeah, I think that's a.
What do you think, Kyle?
As much as it's not, what is it, 7%? 5.7. I get a boozy.
And if you get some heat,
that could be, it's not necessarily boozy, but it's that, what I talked about with the headache, and that doesn't mean it's a bad beer.
Are you getting vinegar, or are you getting...
I wouldn't call it vinegar, but it might be that same headache that I get from vinegar. Yeah. So maybe it is, that's the flavor I get off.
Yeah.
I like it, but it does give me headaches.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, give me a rating. Give me a beer rating.
I'm going to go with...
Do, do, do,
3.3.
3.3. I mean, that's a fucked up ass rating, man.
What the fuck's wrong?
3.33.
No, but that's what
He added 0.03.
But I like it. I like it. This is what it is all about. Everybody is gonna enjoy a beer a different way, especially when it comes to sours and funky beers. That's what I love about the show. Each palate is so unique. You're gonna pick up heavy flavors this way, that way. You're gonna,
Uniquity.
I mean, it's just the truth. Each palate is going to react differently to this beer. So your palate says 3.3. His palate says 3.8. What, 3.9?
What's your palate say?
I'm closer to Cody's range. I knew I was going to love this beer just by the
I
description.
fucking love this beer.
You go oak, you go apricots, you go sour funk. The aroma is just knocking me out, man. I mean, I could just sit here and sniff this all day long. On the aroma, man, that oak barrel, like, you could just smell the wood coming off of it. It's such a good aroma to me. I took wood shop like 10 times in high school, and I just love. but it's just a good beer. I think 3.8. I think 3.8's about right. I don't know what I would do. Maybe it's just a little bit more juicy to make it a 4. Maybe a little bit more.
You want more juice?
I mean, I'm just I love the gin. But I there's almost nothing wrong with this. The flavor, the aroma, the look, the feel. I mean, I absolutely love this beer.
3.8 beers. Well, there you have it. Crooked Stave Artisan Beer Project, the Labret de Apricot.
Yeah.
Right here on Long Beach Craft Radio. We got a couple more beers to review and Brews News.
This is one of the best accessible sour programs in the world. You know what I mean? I mean, it's hard for a lot of these sour programs are so small.
Too.
Yeah, they're so small they can't distribute well. They don't even want to because they don't have a big enough. This is one of the most accessible sour beer programs that just kills it. But yeah, what are we going to come back with? Who wants to go next? I think Kyle is going to bring up some beers next.
I will go next. We're sticking with the Denver theme.
Oh yeah,
Got a Denver from Trve Brewing.
LA Beer Week with all Denver beers, baby.
At least I got an LA County beer, mother lover.
All right, we'll be right back, broadcasting live right out of Long Beach Beer Lab. Check us out, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube,
find
and
us.
our website, longbeachcraftradio.com.
You won't
We'll be right
sad.
back.
Welcome back to Long Beach Craft Radio. Your greasome threesome.
Greasem?
Greasome? I'm gonna make up words. Greasome threesome in here for you. Greasing those squeaky wheels and oiling shit up, making sure we do this right.
We're broadcasting right here at the Long Beach Beer Lab, at the heart of Long Beach. Because you know what? We love the LBC.
LB love.
I think it's your turn, Kyle. We've had a couple beers so far. We tried Unity, and then we tried a delicious beer that I probably can't pronounce from Crooked Stave. De Peach de la de whatever it was.
Well, we learned a word. Persica. Persica.
Persica.
It is the
Alternative word for
scientific
peaches?
genus. Part of the genus name for peaches. Persica.
But we're moving on from peaches. Right? What did you bring to
Georgia
drink?
Persica. I brought a beer. I know it's LA Beer Week, but we have drank some Denver beer tonight.
Might as well.
Just by random occurrence.
Yeah.
Because I like this brewery. I saw this and bought it. It is a Denver brewery. They are called Trve Brewing Company. It looks like TRVE, but it's True.
How are you supposed to know these things?
Well, you just figure this shit out. I've got Viking in me, so I know what a V and a U. That's not really why.
All right.
But the V, where it's supposed to be a U, is actually very Nordic, very Viking.
Okay.
So that does say True, even though it looks like Trve. Trve.
Trve.
Anyways, so we got this Suffering Soul is the name of this beer. With a crazy looking, what is that, a wolf with a bunch of nails sticking out of him? He's eating nails, he's being shot with nails.
That is a disturbing...
That's a pissed off wolf.
It's a disturbing image.
It's like Hellraiser.
Pissed off.
Jason, whatever that dude's name is.
Anyways, so this is a golden mix culture ale with ginger, grapefruit, lime, and black pepper.
Is that enough adjuncts?
And are they adjuncts though? Adjuncts and flavors are two separate things.
Adjuncts are basically anything that you're adding to the beer, correct?
I feel like good breweries don't use adjuncts, and I want to believe that.
Well,
So this is a good brewery. I would hope that
those
what
are-
they're not doing is putting adjuncts in
those
there.
are definitely adjuncts.
All right. Just killing dreams, Dino. Just killing dreams. I had hopes.
Adjuncts are anything that aren't hops, grain, yeast, or water.
Right. And it's not a bad thing.
Call them adjuncts.
It's not a bad
that,
thing.
To me,
That word
means
is not a bad.
wrong.
It's not a bad word. It's not a bad word.
Adjuncts is not a
Unless
bad
you're
word.
in Germany.
My
trying to
training
follow
is
The
has
pure,
made adjuncts a
the
bad
pure
word.
law. Yeah. I mean,
The people who
Oh, look at this.
I think I learned
I
beer
know
from.
there's a lot of beer purity guys that really are against
Reinheitsgebot.
a lot of adjuncts,
No
especially
adjuncts.
those stouts that are kind of like we call them pastry stouts now. It's like an industry term for
Not a
over
fan.
the top stouts that are just you just add everything under the sun just to
I
get some
like
flavor
a
to
donut
it.
and I like a beer. I don't know if I like them together.
Yeah. Well, maybe paired.
Maybe.
All right. Tell us about this brewery. I mean,
Well, the brewery itself, I have been there. It is a very metal-based Scandinavian,
like
maybe.
music metal.
Metal, yes, heavy metal is the ominous tone in that brewery. It's dark enough. It's angry enough. Lots of very cool photos from, I would imagine, very Viking-like places, like lighthouses being covered with huge waves, and there's lots of the stonework. You can see it. It's very obvious in these photos. Or it's a very dark door that's in the side of a hill that has like it looks like an outhouse maybe, but instead of a moon or something on it, it's a pissed off goat.
Sounds like some intense imagery, just like their labels.
Darkness and
goats.
and goats.
Oh, a lot of goats. Huh?
Sacrificial.
Let me get some of this beer.
None of these goats really ever live through the party in the sacrificial Scandinavian Viking sort of a brewery. This is. I think one of their beers is called Sacrificed Goat.
I want you to leave this here.
That's probably wrong, but it could be, and I wouldn't put it past them.
So I
I
heard
wouldn't judge them.
I saw you take your first sip, and then there was a big
Pow!
whoa. Was that a good whoa? Was that a bad
There's
whoa?
it wasn't a holy shit, this is awesome whoa, but it was a I like something obnoxious and weird on my palate kind of whoa.
Yeah.
You can smell that ginger
Yeah.
and the lime. The
There's
ginger and the
definitely
lime.
All that stuff is very pertinent in there.
Yeah.
But then there's kind of a dusty, like a dirt.
Yep.
Not even dirt. It's dusty.
Yeah.
It's. There's a. I don't know. There's that kind of almost like a bready.
It's a must. I call it musty. I call it.
Headache. Really, is what I call it.
I don't know. I don't get the headache thing, man.
As soon as I taste those flavors, like a Brett, I
Yeah.
get a headache.
Yeah.
And it's not a headache like holy shit, I gotta go home. but it's a headache that maybe I get from the flavors. Definitely from the flavors, but it's in my jaw. You know, like you feel something on the back of your tongue or the sides of your tongue. Then it's a different kind of beer than something that you'll feel on the front of your tongue. And then you'll feel certain beers in your jaw.
Yeah,
or
I get that.
You feel it more in your sinuses.
Yeah.
This beer, I like it. All those flavors that it talks about having. I was hoping for more of like I guess when I see all those flavors, I think it's going to be a smoothie, and it's going to have alcohol in it. So I get that beer, and then I'm usually let down.
Yeah, I'm looking at images of this bar because I have never been. I know you two have been. It looks like somewhere where sacrifices happen,
right?
Yeah,
like there might be splatters of blood on the wall that they forgot to clean up. What's this brown stuff over here?
Definitely.
And the guy walks over and tastes it, and he's like, "Oh, that was 2 days ago. That goat's name was Fluffy. He's not so fluffy anymore."
Well, if you're naming a goat Fluffy, then you've gone down the
You
wrong
shouldn't
path.
sacrifice that goat once you've named him
You're
Fluffy.
no longer metal.
If you're, as long as you're still sacrificing it, you can call it
Still metal, yeah.
pink boots with pillows around them that are also pink. Yeah, you're still metal.
I tell you what, I'm not liking it. I'll just be straight up honest.
I don't love it either. I don't love it.
I like experimental beers, especially when it comes to sour programs. They did swing for the fences, I feel like, with this one. I don't know where in a brewer's mind they come up with, I'm going to put ginger, black pepper. What are they doing? What?
I think as I drink more of it, grapefruit lime,
it's starting to meld.
in a way, but I also get like a dusty feeling on top of it.
Well, that's just
kills it.
funk, man. That's just that funk coming from a yeast strain, and you know, I kind of appreciate that. I like when I think the funk is kind of leaving the sour programs. It's more just straight
too much
sour,
adjuncts.
and no, but it's a lot just more sour in barrels. And when I first started getting into when I first started getting these type of beers, they were all funky. They were so funky. I mean, you would taste rust, dirt, horse blanket, wet dog. These are the flavors
Just
you would
straight
get.
Up poop,
Leather.
Leather. I mean, these
Barnyard.
and I'm kind of missing these flavors off a lot of these programs. I mean, I know they have to brew to what people want. They have to sell this beer, but I just miss it a little bit. I miss that old funkiness.
And it adds complexity. It adds dynamic.
Yeah. Your palate can pick these things out and understand and appreciate.
Sometimes when you're just straightforward acidity or sourness or tartness, it's almost too much and it's too blunt. And I feel like beers like these are more delicate, and they're really kind of balancing the flavors of the adjuncts with the flavors that the yeast and the bacteria is producing. This one, I mean, look at this. It just pours a nice pale yellow, little slight haze in the glass. Still get a little clarity in there. But the aroma, you have a lot of herbal aromas. Some light background tropical fruits behind the herbs and the aromas. But then you take a sip. Oh, yeah. It's like a soft, peppery flavor mixed with that ginger, a little oak.
I almost get like a dirty margarita as it's over.
I mean, there's a little bit of a
shitty margarita.
It's like the prairie. You're out on the prairie. I'm getting like.
I'm not familiar with being out on the prairie.
You're having
margarita glass.
You're having like a gimlet, a goblet.
Can I get a Cadillac margarita?
But really, I
with
like
some
this
mud?
beer. I see what you guys are saying, but I think really that the aromas and flavors are really delicate and subtle, and like they're playing off each other in a really delicate way, where there's not any great, profound, forward flavors.
Okay.
There's nothing that's like, oh, that tastes like an apricot. That tastes like a peach.
Yeah.
Like it's
Well, but
fucking
those
delicious.
flavors are coming through.
I'm
Each one of them.
getting
A mixture.
I get
a
a
mixture
little- I get a
of
little bit of all
pepper
of them.
and barnyard and a little bit of the grapefruit.
Lime.
Like that lime is like that acidity and a little bit of that. But it's not too much, is what I'm saying. Is like it's done well in the sense that every flavor isn't overpowering the other.
You think they're working well together?
As I get further into the beer, I like it more and more. I think it comes together well.
All right.
I think so. I'm just gonna jump right in.
Yeah,
I'm
might
gonna
as well.
give it a 3.5 beards on the 4 beard rating scale.
3.5. I mean, Kyle, you brought this beer. I mean, you've been to this brewery. I think it's like your style of brewery too. Kind of like I don't know.
really like the idea. I mean, I can't say that I'm always a metal kind of guy, but I don't have anything against metal, and
Yeah.
I would choose it. I mean, I'd rather go to a metal brewery than a contemporary jazz brewery if I have a choice.
Talking shit on contemporary jazz.
You motherfucker.
But hey, if there's a contemporary jazz brewery, send us some beer. We'll drink it and we'll tell you how good it is.
Elevator Music Brewery.
Elevator Music Brewery.
So what do you think? Give it a this beard rating.
I give it a 3.5.
I like it.
I like it better than I think you guys do.
No,
I
it
think
grows
the
on me,
herbs
like
and the
most
lime that's coming out, I think that's really nice. I'm not gonna pound like a bunch of these beers or anything. I'm not gonna like drink a whole one.
Don't pour me in.
But,
Don't pour me in.
I'm not going to drink any more of this one.
but I'm glad you brought it. I'm glad you opened up my mind.
And the bottle
this
share
beer.
will love these.
Yes. You know, did you rate it?
Let's throw it back.
I'm going
this
to
bottle
rate
share right
this beer a 3.7.
Ooh,
3.7.
That's quite a rating.
I wouldn't have
Because
think you would rate it
I
that
might
high.
have bad-mouthed it
Yeah.
in the beginning, but
It's growing on you.
it will grow on me. I am a talk first, figure it out later kind of guy.
Yeah.
So I'm figuring it out later. And this one, 3.7.
Yeah.
3.7.
Tell you what, my rating's going to be a lot lower than yours.
You son of a bitch.
I mean, it's just
Gino sets a record for the lowest rating ever.
No, it won't be that bad.
Short of Budweiser.
I mean, you got to appreciate what's going on with this beer. I mean, there's a bunch of complexity to it, and it is somewhat smooth for all those flavors that's going on, but I just don't think they're mixing what for my palate. It just doesn't work. I mean, not even the aroma works for me. When I smell it, it's just so ginger and so. I was looking forward to getting more of that black pepper. I'm not really picking up any, maybe slightly on the back end,
Soft.
but
very soft.
but I'm getting ginger and lime, and both of those I hate in beer. I don't like lime beers. I don't like ginger beers. So it's just not a good combination for this guy. I mean, it's one of those things. Another complaint I have is I hate breweries that have names that you can't fucking pronounce unless you know some insider
Unless you
information.
know V's are used.
Yeah,
Well.
unless you know these are used.
Anything that,
Or is it true?
Anything that makes
Is it
me
true?
look something up,
Is it true?
I'm in.
You like it?
Anything that makes me learn something, I'm in. So
See,
when I look
my
that up,
dumbass
'cause
would
we
go-
were calling it Trve.
Yeah, I would do that for years and
Trve.
years.
You
Yeah.
know, we were making up all
Trve.
this Trve.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Tve beer. And we figured it out as we're sitting there talking because we were the only people in there. We waited for it to open
Yeah,
at 11 a.m.
they're like, shut up, it's true.
Yeah, we're sitting there talking. The guy's finally like, hey, it's true.
Yeah.
It's a U. And he went into some. We weren't really listening, but it's how the Vikings
Yeah.
or the Norse people would write the
Yeah.
U.
Right. Okay.
So
You know what the best thing this beer has? It has a good linger. I mean, like, the smell, the taste, but when I let it sit there on my palate, and when I sit there for 10 to 12 seconds, you get that just nice little, like,
it's like you ate
kind of,
sushi a half hour.
yeah, like fruity. That lime is super prevalent. That lime is up front to me. But
I get a lot of the ginger.
it's okay. I mean, that's why it's going to come in at about 2.3 for me. a 2.3 is about all I can give it. I mean, the aroma has to be there. Everything's got to be there for it to be up there. Right when I saw ginger and lime, I kind of knew. I just kind of knew. But it's just, it is what it is. It's something that I prefer.
Well, I'm learning lessons.
I mean,
I often go for a beer because of the flavors that it's talking about, and a lot of times it's not what
these beers are specifically why I love bottle shares and why I love sharing bottles. It's because you will try things that you might not want to try, or you'll just taste things that you'll never see. Yeah. This is perfect. I mean, I would have never bought that beer. I'm glad I got to try it. I'm glad I got to see what this brewery is, but it's just not my thing, you know. But I still love that you got it and we're trying it and we know what it is now. I mean, that's the whole point. Yeah.
I'm gonna probably do that a lot in this experience.
I like it.
Is buy a beer that mainly based on the fact that there's a wolf on the cover.
Well, yeah,
with nails sticking out of its head.
That's quite a label.
That's the best part of the beer. Really.
I mean,
the label caught me. I read the description. I said, "All right, let's do it."
Label.
I didn't like that they were almost $10 a bottle.
I went back and
so I don't see why the fuck. I mean, are you falling into a category of a brewery where you can charge? Because if this bottle is $10, what is a 6-pack? Do you even sell it as a 6-pack?
Well, no, that's
is that a $30 6-pack?
Well,
is that a 40? That's fucking ridiculous.
How
is beer that expensive?
Because it's based on ingredients.
Yeah. I can explain it right now.
Barrel age.
All that costs money.
All of that.
This beer a year ago would have been put in a 750. It would have been put in a double-sized bottle, and it would have been $25 to $30. So what the industry has done in the last year or two is change to these smaller bottles, especially with the sour programs, because nobody wants to spend $23 to $30 for a bottle. So now the industry is fully converting to this, and I'll spend $10 on an experimental beer. Yes, but it's $10 instead of $30.
A small amount.
Yeah.
So you don't have to commit.
It's a shareable beer.
Yeah. So basically,
you're not going to buy a 6-pack of this.
You're not going to buy a $30 bottle of that. I mean, it just leaves you so hesitant when the bottle is that much. $10.
Now we would.
$10. Yeah. All day I'll fork out $10 on a bottle. Like all day, I have no problem.
12 ounces.
Yes, it's a barrel aged beer. I mean, it's a sour beer or a barrel aged beer. Yes, no problem. IPA, fuck off with that shit.
Even an IPA, not $10.
Not $10, no.
But I was explaining this the other day to someone who was like, "Why is this 6-pack $12 or $15?" Because they're using 5 times the amount of hops, 2 times the amount of grain.
And then what are they comparing that to?
Yeah, right. Like something
shit.
Like
when you add in sours, barrel-aged beers, high-gravity beers, the ingredient real estate costs and barrel aging costs, it's not just scarcity that determines the price of the beer.
Yeah.
It's also the ingredients really do.
But I think the industry is right and did the right thing by converting to these small bottles, because Cascade was one of the first people to put out these $30 750s, and it was like, bro,
nobody wants
you don't know if you're even gonna like that beer. So this is a great way to $10 not gonna break the bank, but you can still experiment and get out of the box. I love that the industry decided to go this way. The blendery has gone from the big bottles to the small bottles. I think it's an industry wide thing.
It is, So we broke it down. We got to move on. We broke it down. This was the Trve Brewing Company out of Denver, Colorado. The Suffering Soul Ale brewed with ginger, grapefruit, lime, black pepper, coming in at 4.6%. Our own Shwilligan Milligan brought this in tonight to have us taste. This was
it's so dark,
something unique,
That's going to be my profile picture.
But later on in the show,
with nails in his face,
we're going to do a little brews news, and we got one more beer to rate.
Yes, sir.
And I think we're going to take a little 2-minute break.
Yeah, dude, we're going to go chill in LB Beer Lab for a
Smoke
minute.
them if you got them.
Light it up, smoke it
Slap
up.
that.
You're,
You got that.
You're listening to Long Beach Craft Radio on the one and only Long Beach Craft Radio station at the one and only Long Beach Beer Lab with the one and only legendary Brandino. We'll be right back after this message. Welcome back to Long Beach Craft Radio, live from Long Beach Beer Lab. I'm Cody. To my right here is the legendary Brandino. We also have our third host, Schwilligan Milligan. He's in the back schmoozing with the crowd here at Long Beach Beer Lab. But we're going to get into a little booze news right now.
Intense beer news that goes down.
This is the weekly update for all our listeners. I mean, this is where you get the cutting edge
Inside edition.
First up on the headlines, Bear Bottle Brewing Company of San Francisco has come out with a beer called LeBron Tears. It's a Haze Me Bro IPA coming in at 6.5%.
Is it salty?
Alcohol. The Bear Bottles Brewing Company's description is, here's a little known fact, KD, Steph, and Clay take opposing teams' hopes and dreams and turn them into soul-crushing three-pointers. We took the tears from Sir James' Game 1 loss and distilled them into a hazy IPA just for you. We decided that tears pair well with Mosaic hops. So obviously Golden State beat and swept the Cleveland Cavaliers, LeBron's team. And so Bear Bottle Brewing Company is out of San Francisco, near the Golden State Warriors home court. And it's not the first time LeBron James has been tied to a beer in one way or another. Back in 2010, Buckeye Brewing made Witless, a play on the witness tag applied earlier to James's first years in Cleveland. So he is familiar with the beer.
He's not
The
a
whole
witty
beer
man.
world.
I mean,
What do you think? LeBron Tears is the name of a beer, and they're making fun of LeBron James.
I mean, there's
Right away, I support it.
Well, listen, they're a San Francisco brewery, so they're Golden State fans. They're gonna do this. I understand it. I think it's hilarious. I think it's absolutely
I
hilarious.
want to see a Cleveland brewery do like an angry fuck you, LeBron kind of beer.
when LeBron leaves Cleveland, like he's going to in
there's
2
something-
weeks,
there's
it's literally in
something
2
Coming
weeks.
this way, isn't it?
You're gonna.
Is he coming to LA?
Well, the rumors are, and if you go to Vegas, I think it's 5-1 odds. The odds are really good.
You can
that
make
he
money
ends up-
on his transfer.
Yeah. They got bets. So if he, it's like 100 to 1. He's a Clipper.
Put down $50.
But he's never gonna be.
He might be a Laker.
But
50,
what I'm saying
always
is,
bet on black. Wait, is that racist?
this actually made countrywide. I mean, what do you call that? It made headline news all over the place. CNN covered this. ABC covered it. Fox covered it. It's a great way to get your name out there. I had never even heard of that brewery until this beer. So I think they did a great thing for themselves.
Beef is one of the best publications.
Look at Pusha T and Drake, bro.
Oh my god! I don't even
You
know
want
who
to
Pusha T
you want to
is.
get your name out there?
Because he dissed
Find
Drake.
the biggest guy in the yard, punch him in his LeBron face.
And that LeBron is the best player in the
Slaying
NBA.
cocaine.
Oh,
Next up on the headlines, the Trump administration's tariffs on aluminum imports are costing brewers money. That's right, folks. For example, Mega Piss beer conglomerate Miller Coors estimates a hit of more than $40 million to its bottom line.
that's like 0.00001% of their income.
The maker
They buy a couple less cars this year.
The maker of Miller Lite will have to cut back on investments, new hires, and other costs.
I love that.
Or they may even have to raise prices on that shit beer that you swill every weekend. Miller Coors shares are down 14% since the Trump administration announced plans to slap a 10% tariff on foreign aluminum shipments and a 25% tax on steel imports on grounds of national security. Miller Coors CEO says they may have to raise prices, but that would result on their market share being hammered by just a 50% increase on a 12-pack. So if you want to buy a 12-pack of shitty-ass beer, you might have to pay 50 more cents.
It's like buying an
You
extra
fucking white
six-pack.
trash piece of shit.
Oh, wait.
With international producers selling a greater portion of their beer in glass, large domestic brewers are more affected by the tariff.
Let me
But
ask you this.
also, local craft breweries are moving away from bottles and towards can.
Yeah.
So there are now over 6,000 small brewers out there that are seeing a shift into cans, which is going to see a dramatic increase to their cost
It's not
because
that dramatic.
of the goddamn Trump tariffs.
Everybody invest in aluminum.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you both this. Do you think these companies will take the hit or pass it on to the people who buy their beer?
Pass it on.
Absolutely. So what do they even give us? They're going to pass it on. They're not even going to see a difference in sales.
But
You're
no,
talking
because-
50 cents a 12-pack?
No, that's-
50 cents a 12-pack?
But that's what the CEO.
You get what you pay for, people.
The CEO of Miller Coors thinks that they will lose a
Customers.
substantial portion
50 cents.
because of the increase. It works out to about 1 cent per can
Yeah.
when you buy them in bulk as a mass producer.
So they're admitting that they're
So they're going to profit off of it.
they're people that buy their customers.
So they're going to take the
Are
12-cent increase
cheap
and increase their
motherfuckers.
price 50 cents. Because that's what
Poor.
corporations do.
Horrible beer drinking
So what do we got here?
trash.
You got idiots who vote for Trump.
Yep.
Idiots who drink shitty beer.
Yep.
Idiots
Kill 'em
who
all.
put out tariffs on foreign aluminum. Idiots who work at these goddamn breweries. I mean,
Wait, what? Oh, yeah.
These large
that's
breweries.
not true. That's not true. There's some smart people there. I'm
They
just
should
saying
find a new word and
that-
not even call them brewers.
that the consumer. It's interesting that the consumers who voted for the person who's initiating these tariffs are the ones who are going to be most affected because they're the ones who are buying the most shitty beer.
And these tariffs were meant to affect other countries, not our country.
Exactly. Next up on the headlines. That's beer theory. The New York State Senate on Thursday passed legislation that would allow the sale of ice cream made with beer or hard cider. That's right, folks. The measure was put forth at the request of a Central New York ice cream maker, and this bill would let businesses make ice cream with beer or hard cider as an ingredient. New York already has a law that allows wine to be added to ice cream. Just like the wine with ice cream, this bill would update the law to allow a certain percentage of ice cream to have beer, but it would limit the ice cream to have no more than 5% alcohol by volume. It would also prohibit its sale to people younger than 21, and it would require the same product labeling and warning statements similar to wine, beer, and other products. The beer appears to have a good chance of making it to Governor Cuomo's desk for final approval. It's making its way through the state assembly in hopes of passage before the legislative session ends next week. Beer, ice cream, Kyle.
You can get carded
for buying ice
for
cream.
having a scoop.
I mean,
Can I get a scoop?
I mean,
That'll be $10.50.
Let's talk about this.
And I need to see some ID.
Let's talk about this. 5% is a strong ass ice
strong
cream.
ice cream.
You can get hammered off of 5% ice cream. That is stronger than any Coors Light, Miller Lite,
I've
Bud
often
Light.
showed up to places and said I'm only drinking and eating dessert.
I think 5%.
So give me both.
I think 5% is a crazy rate.
Two scoops.
That's heavy
2 scoops.
ice cream.
You can't drive.
So does 2 scoops equal 2 beers?
yes.
Right.
You can't
My
drive.
God.
Well, I mean,
That
roll
seems.
a joint, eat 2 scoops,
Wow.
and really, if you eat
I'm looking forward to going to
if you eat
Thrifty's
beer
from now
ice
on.
cream, is it going to show up? It would show up on a breathalyzer.
Yeah,
It's still
well.
in your system.
Yeah, I mean, it's alcohol, buddy.
And finally, we've already
This is
talked
covered
about
with
this.
sugar.
We're in the midst of LA Beer Week number 10. Started on June 16th all the way up to June 24th. LA Beer Week was founded in 2009 by a group of dedicated beer enthusiasts and community members. LA Beer Week is produced by the Los Angeles County Brewers Guild, a 80-plus brewery strong nonprofit organization dedicated to fostering the culture of hashtag LA Beer. And, you know, there's a lot of events going on this week, guys. And I'm just going to run down a few of them. But you can go to labeerweek.org for the full list of events. But tonight, the Eagle Rock Public House has the Brewers in the Hot Seat from 6 to 8 p.m. This esteemed panel of brewers from Highland Park Brewery, Three Weavers Society Brewing, and Eagle Rock will be presented with hot wings while they answer questions from the audience.
We're going to do a show like that. We should do a hot wing show.
You should come and try the flight of hot wings plus beers designated by the panelists to quell the inferno in their
We'll do the
mouths.
show there.
Each of the hot wings will be
I'm in.
specially prepared by Chef Jerry Sue, so they'll be both delicious and spicy.
Jerry, boy named Sue.
Starting tomorrow night, Zimmergy Brewworks is hosting the event. Come brew with us, brewers. Do you want to brew your own craft beer? Well, come to Zimmergy Brewworks during LA Beer Week and get answers to all your questions about craft beer. You can brew with the brewers at Zimmergy Brew Weeks from Tuesday through Thursday of this week, as well as sample some of their beers. That's pretty cool.
I
You
like
can
that.
actually get your own little brew session in. And on Wednesday night, Angel City Brewing is hosting the LA Beer Week panel, Women in Craft Beer. For LA Beer Week, they'll be hosting a panel with their friends and neighbors of downtown LA. The discussion will be highlighting the diverse experiences of women in the industry, including their various job roles in craft beer, and a discussion of how each panelist got their start in the rapidly changing industry. The event is free, but please RSVP. Some of the panelists include Yvette De Luna from Arts District Brewery, Letitia Barajas from Dry River Brewing, Amber Sawicki from Iron Triangle, and there's a couple other panelists to be determined.
Wow.
And on this Thursday, Naja's Place will be hosting the Battle of the Guilds, LA Beer Week number 10
Always a great
edition.
event. Always a great event.
Naja's Place in Redondo Beach will once again host the Battle of the Guilds, a 3-guild tap takeover between Los Angeles, San Diego, and San Francisco. Come support the home team and make sure LA takes home the
They always do.
gold.
If you've never been to Dodges, it's right on the pier in Redondo. It's like one of the coolest bars you've ever been to. Just small but crazy good tap list, really good vibe. I think a lot of times they have like Grateful Dead cover bands. It's a really cool bar, and that event is awesome. Everybody shows up, and like even the San Francisco and San Diego Brewers Guild show up, and it's a battle, but it's not really because everybody's from LA, so LA kind of wins every time. But it's a great event.
Exactly. And this Friday here at Long Beach Beer Lab, we got the Rip Beer Company collaboration release and tap takeover. Yeah. So come join us this Friday at Long Beach Beer Lab as we release our IPA brewed with sourdough bread in collaboration with Rip Brewing Company. We'll also have a large selection of Rip Beer Company beers. Head brewer Ian McCall will be in attendance answering all your beer nerd questions. And finally, this Saturday at Three Weavers Brewing, it's the first annual LA Beer Week Brumo Pseudo Sumo Showdown starting at 12 p.m. This is where brewers from all around the world will square off in a brutal battle for eternal glory and a chance to hold the world renowned Brumo Pseudo Sumo belt of the Beer Masters. This is a sumo event where people, including myself, will be battling for the title of most badass drunk sumo. So come on and drink some beer while you watch your favorite brewers lay it all on the line as they strap themselves in to giant sumo wrestling suits and fight to the death. Free admission for everyone 21 and
just
over.
The humiliation.
It's pride. It's
death.
It's pride
it's
and glory.
Death. Let's not get it twisted.
It's pride and glory.
Someone's gonna die.
There's events happening all over town this week, so go out and celebrate LA Beer Week at your local brewery. Once again, this has been another edition of Brews News Weekly Update on the one and only Long Beach Craft Radio.
Cody, you really got that public announcement voice going, and I do appreciate how well you do those live reads. It's impossible for me to do anything like that, but it's great. We're gonna get down to our third beer.
Let's get down, we gotta finish up this show.
We got eventually. We just gotta finish. But I love finishing up the night on a delicious IPA.
So look at this. Look at this.
Look at that label. Look at that label.
Isn't that beautiful?
So is that like
This is the Beachwood Brewing Thrillseeker IPA, but it is the double dry hopped edition, coming in at 7.1% ABV, 99 IBUs. This Thrillseeker will push your senses to the edge. Kettle hopping with Chinook, Summit, Centennial, and Simcoe lays down a massive citrus and tropical hop profile. Then Beachwood double dry hops this mother lover with Simcoe and Chinook, providing an explosively bright aroma.
Still in his news voice.
This is
still got that news
only
voice.
The second time that they have released the double dry hop Thrillseeker. Let's get a little pour of this.
We're already drinking.
Are you guys already drinking this?
I was thirsty, bro.
Hey, tell me a little bit of something. Tell me a little bit of something. Talk to me.
Little something.
I mean, I'll tell you that Beachwood has been doing a great job putting out these. These are their kind of mainstay IPAs. They've been around for a while. So they have Melrose, they have Citraholic, they have Thrillseeker, and Foam Top, I think, is another one they've canned. Slowly but surely, what they're doing is putting together all their mainstay beers, and they're canning them and putting them out to distribution.
Oh my God.
This one, I remember my first time ever having this beer, and it was one of those mind-blowing experiences. It was just on another level when it first came out. Of course, there's a lot of beers that kind of are in this realm now, but when I first had this beer, there was nothing like it. There was nothing in the industry like it. It's still an amazing beer. Classic West Coast in my mind. This double dry hopped, I mean, it just punches you in the face a little bit more. It just gives you a little bit more of that aroma. Slightly bitter. I mean, I guess I'm that type of person. I don't find almost any IPA too bitter. I don't understand when people are like, "Oh, but the bitterness."
The same people saying, "Do you have anything that's not an IPA?
You got anything like Coors Light?
I like
Anything like Coors Light?"
I like all beer. I love beer, but I don't like IPAs.
So I never got that really. I love all the aspects that an IPA brings to me. Yeah, I mean, I'm always glad when a Beachwood beer pops up. I'm a homer, but so far, an amazing beer. They just started carrying this, and I like to see the way a beer develops in the can. It's a lot different than having, in my mind, than having it on tap at the brewery. Right. Whatever happens, whatever the development is in the can compared to at the brewery, I think there's always a difference. It's always obvious to me, especially at my local breweries where I drink their beer all the time. I think you can just see that difference. I love that they canned this. I didn't see it coming. I knew Citraholic was coming. I knew Melrose was coming. I didn't see this one coming, so I'm glad they're doing that.
Well said. Kyle, we haven't talked too much about your beer resume. But, you've been around the town. You used to walk on your hands in the streets of Rossmore.
That's part of your beer resume?
Beer and blood and beer.
And then after that, a little Colorado, a little North Carolina, and now you're back to the SoCal scene. But, I think all those experiences have probably rounded out your palate, really let you understand different regions. How they use hops, how they use grains, how they use different barrel aging things. But, for me personally, West Coast California style IPAs hold such a special place for me. I'm always going to come back to those. I know you were an arrogant bastard. You were one of the OG.
That might have started it.
But,
I'm with you. I'm going to... This beer here is my true north. If a beer is your north, this is. If I have to aim at something, this is what I want.
Yeah.
It's not like whatever we had earlier that was.
The Unity.
The Unity was a good beer, but that was the kind of obnoxious hop that I still like, but it's not nearly as giving as this. This is very flavorful. It's very. This is my favorite. This is where I would go if I had to choose.
Your benchmark. Your benchmark.
Yeah. A jumping off point. So if it's this beer, then it's perfect. If it's you maybe do more of this. I'm a dry hops guy. I love dry hop.
So this is double dry hop. What happens when you dry hop? Our home brewers know, and some of our longtime craft beer drinkers know. But hops, when they're introduced to the brewing process at different times, give you different flavors and aromas. Early in the boil, more bitterness. Late in the boil, more flavor. During the dry hop, that means post-fermentation.
Most flavor.
You're adding...
It's all aroma and flavor. It's nothing but aroma and flavor.
And so you're getting those essential oils, those delicate aromas. This was canned on June 13th. Yeah, what's today?
Like 18th or something like that?
5 days ago?
Yeah. 18th? Yeah.
And that is, I was about to say, dry hopping is the freshest of the hopping parts of that beer. That is the last portion, the last time that they're going to put any flavor in that beer is the dry hop. So that dry hop probably happened within a week ago.
And if you drink a beer a few months from now, that dry hopping aroma will fall off first. We had the halai. We had the halai last week from Cigar City, and that one usually has a lot of tropical flavors and aromas. And it was a good beer, but the aroma was so.
It tasted very subdued. The one we had earlier, because that effervescence, that pow of that fruitiness wasn't there. That overly dry hopped wasn't there. This beer is exactly where I want a beer to be.
Yeah.
When it comes to, I'm just a fan of dry hop.
I love it.
Dry hop.
What about double dry hop?
Bring
it.
What does that even mean?
Triple dry hop.
No one even asked.
The torpedo.
Is it double the amount, or does it mean? Because I was trying to
Did
read
it
about
twice?
this.
It means twice.
That they dry hop it, transfer,
Dry
and
hop.
then dry hop it again.
Nobody wants to be dry hopped.
I should ask
Twice.
that question.
Much less once.
When I'm at Beachwood in the next 24 hours, which is inevitable, I'll ask them. I think it just means double the amount.
I think it means double dry hopped. It means twice.
What does that mean? I mean,
It means they run it through. Well, and dry hopping is not
Every time
necessarily
you
what
transfer-
I think of. Oh, it is transfer.
No, it's when you transfer it onto fresh hops,
So you'd be using
I mean, not fresh hops,
something
any
like
hops.
the torpedo.
or just a new
Or
a secondary
torpedo
fermenter.
version.
A secondary fermenter. So
Because the torpedoes.
So you put hops in the secondary fermenter, and then you transfer the beer on top of
Onto
it and
those
let
hops.
it sit for a week or a day or any
And then
amount of
you filter.
time. And then you go through again, double dry hop. I imagine you do the same thing, and then you filter it in the bright tank afterwards. We're busting.
There you go.
But let's wrap it up because we're going long now. We're drinking the Thrillseeker Double Dry Hop Beachwood Brewing
Always
IPA
dry
coming
hop.
in at
Always
77.1%. Double dry hopped. This thing pours a clear yellow with a single finger white head, big citrus and tropical aroma. Such a good, smooth bitterness. I'm getting flavors of melon, mango, papaya. It just finishes clean. I'm going to give this a 3.9 beards.
ooh, another 3.9. Another 3.9.
I mean, I don't know if you've noticed, but I pretty much rate high.
You like all these beers.
Because it's high the whole time.
Because I'm high.
You want me to go or would you like to go?
You can finish it off since this was your beer.
This was my beer.
Yeah.
Oh.
I bought this beer.
Well, then I'll go.
But
My
you can
turn.
still go.
I also like this beer. Like I said,
Yeah.
True North.
You said it was your favorite.
If I have to pick a favorite style in the world, this is it all the time.
Double dry hop
I
madness.
mean, I might pick others at the moment, but the consistency, this is going to be the best beer. I'm going to give it a 3.8
Man.
because it's good, and I don't want to give it too much because then it's going to remember that. I want to be a stickler.
All right.
I want to be impressed. I want you to bring out
Yeah.
the beef.
So 4 is going to be hard to get from the cow, huh?
And like we said, beef is a good way to get publicity. So, fuck everybody.
I hate all brewers.
I hate you all. Come get me.
Man, I know what you guys are saying. This
3.8.
3.8.
I know what you're saying, Kyle. The hop aroma and the hop flavors on this are out of control. But it's like basically all you taste is like straight, like it's like eating a hop plant. It's like
crazy.
it's like almost too much hop. Like,
Well, that's what I think is great. When someone can't handle the dankness, the Californianess of a beer.
all right,
That's probably where you get a lot of those people that say, I want to try something that's I like, but I don't like hoppy beer. I'm like, get the fuck out.
I like your
Or you
response.
don't like hoppy beer? Get the fuck out.
Is that what you tell?
Get the fuck out.
I mean, it's a great beer. It's one of the best beers out of Beachwood. I have to say, I think I liked Unity a little bit better. It's just a little bit smoother, a little bit more palatable. Just a very well put together beer. So I think this one's going to come in slightly lower than the 4.0 that I gave out earlier. I think 3.8 is about right on this beer.
Can't get much lower.
I mean, literally, it's like chewing hops. That's what this beer is like. It's so hoppy.
Hey man, remember when we used to vape hops, bro?
That was so
We're gonna
good.
do that again.
Eventually. I mean,
So what are you rating this?
3.8. I want to give it a
Could
3.8.
we vape beer?
Sure, why not?
Could we make beer into something we could snort?
We can steam it and then put our heads around it in a bowl. Yeah, I mean, mean, it's a great way to end the night. We had some really good beers tonight. Starting with Unity, brought on that Crooked Stave. I thought that was amazing. We had Trve.
This weird beer.
You guys liked it. You guys seem to like it.
I like it because it's weird.
And
that label. That label
I think you like the label
on
the most.
fire.
With my notes.
Then we
On
finished.
nails.
We finished with the Thrillseeker, which is an amazing IPA. I'm so glad
Abundantly thrilly.
that Beachwood has decided to can all these like incredible IPAs. They're going to take over the IPA world if they do things right.
Absolutely, a
Way to
quick
go, Beachwood.
rundown of our ratings tonight because we did drink 4 beers. We each brought a beer, and that's the format of our show. We each bring a beer, we each drink it, we each rate it. But we started off with the Unity, like Dino said, and I think that one just took the gold medal tonight. That came in at an average of 3.9 beers.
It's an incredible average.
Out of 4 beers. Next up was the Thrillseeker at 3.85 beers out of 4 beers. Third place, we had the Crooked Stave Labret the Apricot at 3.6 beers, and rounding out the night
I brought down the average.
Trve Brewing Suffering Soul at 3.2 beers. Overall, a really great night of beer drinking. Don't forget, we're in the midst of LA Beer Week. You can go to labeerweek.org. You can get tickets and info for all the events happening across LA with all the beer events, everything else. We did a little brews news. We broke it down. Anything else?
Please follow us on Facebook, Long Beach Craft Beer, and then Instagram,
Long Beach Craft
LBC Radio.
Facebook, Instagram, LBC Radio, Cody Brewing Grow, Happy Leprechaun, Dino Flow.
Yeah, don't follow that guy.
Dino Flow, that's the best one. Actually, you should really check
Follow him anyway.
There was a post from Hawaii from 5 years ago.
You'll learn some
That was like my
stuff.
last post.
Dino's gonna update his Instagram.
But
it was good. It was good to have some beers with you guys. I like that we kind of went over the gamut. We had a couple experimental beers. We had a couple right up our alley beers, and that's what I like.
We need up and down. The easy ones, the hard ones, the ones that will get forgotten. We'll do them all.
Well, cheers, guys. Next Monday, we'll be right back here at Long Beach Beer Lab. This is LBCRadio.com, LongBeachRadio.com.
Cheers,
I'll get it right. One of these days, I'll get it right.
cheers.
Don't still thug like